Hi everyone, and welcome back to another little garden tour. I just wanted to give you a few updates because I have switched some things around. But first I want to let you know about these two lantanas. I've showed you in previous videos how beautiful and overextended they are. I did notice one is doing better than the other. I'm not quite sure why. They both get the same amount of water and the same amount of sun. But I do water them in the mornings, which I find really helpful. So I have even cut them back to the container. I left the top part, but I cut them all back to the container about maybe 2 months ago, and they're back into full bloom and fully overgrown again. So I may cut them back again just to get it fuller in the middle, which is what I found helps. Along the side of the house, I have these 3 containers here that also have lantanas. And at some point, I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna get rid of them because they're looking really overgrown and really leggy, and I thought they're not gonna come back from that. But I did cut them back about the same time, cut them back pretty short, and now they're full grown again and getting ready to fully bloom. There's tons of blooms on them right now, and they're really full, so I'm really excited about that. Here's my Texas sage with my wandering Jew that I've gotten from clippings around the yard. I have noticed that my wandering Jew, I've already had to clip back several times, and I'll just keep sticking them back in the soil. I noticed that when they grow really tall, they cover the part of the Texas sage that allows a lot of sun, and my Texas sage will start getting leggy because there's no sun coming to it, so the leaves aren't going to grow on it. So I'm going to have to either take out the wandering Jew or just keep it really trim low, which is what I'll probably do because I like filler, but not enough for it to cover up my plant. Now here's the powder puff plant that I just planted a few videos ago also with the pentas underneath. If you notice, there's only one penta that is not doing well. I don't know why, it's just stayed small, but the rest of them have really done a good job of growing. And here I've decided to put in some cotton Easter. Depending who you watch online, some people up north might call it catanister. I call it cotton Easter because that's how we pronounce it down here. They give out beautiful white blooms. You only see a lot of people who plant this in the ground, surrounded by trees. They grow them as hedges. And I thought, you know what, I've seen them in containers also, so I'm gonna do mine in a container because that's really what I can do in the backyard. They have these beautiful white flowers, and so far I've had to trim it back twice, and I love trimming plants back, especially structured plants. It's like giving a haircut and no one complains about it, so I love doing it. So I can't wait for this thing to keep growing, and I just keep trimming it back. It's also a great habitat for life. I'll see some butterflies floating around, but basically lizards. Lizards love, if you don't mind lizards, they love to crawl around in here and create a little habitat. And I've seen lots of little baby lizards, and they're just adorable. I mean, who doesn't love that? So that's my cotton Easter. Now over here you see my golden dewdrop, which I love. Butterflies are constantly surrounded this, but I am going to have to repot this. Not because it's getting too big, but because the pot itself I've had for many years already. And the problem with terracotta pots is that while I love the look of terracotta pots, after a few years, they will start to crumble up on you a little bit. It gets so much moisture that the moisture leaks out through the terracotta, and that's how you get that beautiful mossy used look that you see in the countryside of European cities. But it's not doing too well here after so many years. It's starting to crumble, and I'm gonna have to get a different pot. I would love to have a resin pot because they hold water really well, and it doesn't leak out or dry out the soil like the terracotta pots do. I'll probably get another terracotta pot. One I'm eyeing is beautiful, so I'm gonna see if I can get that one because I can't find any other resin containers now that I really like, and so I might just go straight for a terracotta. Here's my other powder puff tree. It has been in full bloom for the past few weeks as well, and it's just done amazing. Oh my God, I keep sending pictures to my friends, and now they've all gotten powder puff trees. and I don't blame them. It's just magnificent. The coral sedum underneath has filled in almost completely. So now we've come to the mango tree area, where I have lots of wandering Jews. I have a couple artillery ferns. I even had some coral sedum, which did not do well because the wandering Jew just covered it up and it couldn't get any sun. I do have two nice stones in here, which you can't see. So I'm gonna have to end up pruning this back, get it low and level, and open it up a little bit. So that's a project I have to do. But otherwise, I mean, who doesn't love something that's full and lush? All right, so I know there's a lot of sun here. You probably won't be able to see it very well, but this is the walking iris that I've had. The past 2 weeks we've had lots and lots of rain, like I said, and it's honestly gotten too much water, and it's killed off part of my plant, which I can just pull out, these dead ones, and I just keep pruning it back. I've basically taken out half the plant already because it's gotten too much water. Normally, I never even water this plant, and it does fantastic. It just gets whatever water that it gets from the rain, and that's it. And I did just notice that I don't have this pot lifted up off the ground in a little saucer, so it may be just retaining too much water in there. So I'm going to have to get a saucer for it and lift it up so it will be able to drain better. Okay, so I know I have to weed, but tell me, how does coleus, wandering Jew, and artillery fern get planted where I never planted them? So that must have been me trimming plants around and some of it falling out accidentally, and it just seeded itself. Isn't that amazing? Here's my beautiful full crepe myrtle, which is totally, I love. This year has done a spectacular show of flowers. I also have a whole bunch of coleus underneath that I have been trimming up and repotting, trying to reproduce them while I still have them. And so far that's taken up pretty well. So we'll see if I can replant those somewhere else. But this is just glorious. I love looking at this all the time. I'm still getting a lot of new flowers on here that are gonna keep blooming, and it's like a spectacular fireworks show. Now here's a plant I wish I knew the name of. I don't know the name of it, and the man who sold it to me at the nursery also forgot the name of it, of course. So I'm gonna have to go back to a different nursery and see if they can identify it for me. But I did have this container out by the other two chairs by my powder puff plants. So while it was sold to me while the plant was in the sun, I thought it would be a full sun plant. It was just struggling in the sun. So I moved it over here to the shade, and it's done wonders. So as soon as I find out the name of this plant, I will let you know. But I just love it. Look at all those blooms. It stayed full, and it looks great in that pot. Hi guys, thanks again for joining me on this backyard tour. If you like what you saw, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you never miss out again. Thanks.